Rick, I wanted to bring up something that happened recently. I mean, I think within the last week. So I saw a post on Twitter and I was more or less following it because people were asking about the staking rewards within Cardano. And then Binance released a lending program. So there was a whole debate as to whether or not you would take the 6% rewards for lending your ADA on Binance versus the estimated around 3% rewards for staking your ADA. Depending on, of course, the number of transactions within each epoch, it could be higher than 6%, depending on how many transactions are flowing through the ecosystem, but which would you take? So I was interested to see what would your strategy be in that situation.
Okay, I would like to ask the viewers, but RJM Coin gave me a really good recommendation. He said 50% on the Binance lending program and 50% staking. Or he recommended I put that option in there, 50-50 between. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's brilliant. Yeah, that sounds like something I would do. Thanks, RJM Coin. I appreciate that. Any of the viewers, if you have comments on would you use the Binance lending program where you lend your ADA to Binance and the annual return is 6%. The initial maturity is 14 days. So I believe that's a hold for 14 days and you start getting small percentages, fractions of that 6%. And if you leave it in there for you get 6% back. It did fill up within 38 seconds. So once Binance launched that program, it was full in 38 seconds. I was like, whoa, what happens if they ask for ADA? Sebastian had a good point. They can only lend so much, right?
Yes.
Or they can only allow you to lend so much ADA. They're not going to make any profit off of it. At some point, they're going to hit the point of diminishing returns and it'll no longer be profitable to keep borrowing your ADA.
The maximum amount that you could lend was 500,000. And I think they had a cap, 500,000 ADA. And I think they had a cap of 10 million for the first lending program. So it's only a few people that were able to actually lend out their ADA. I mean, for me personally, I am a US citizen. So I advocate, of course, you can use VPNs and everything like that, but I don't feel comfortable holding my funds on dataless, on Binance for a long period of time, even if it promises higher returns, solely because I don't feel like the US is pro Binance whatsoever. So you could get into some kind of quandary where they lock your funds and they match your IP address and this and that. I mean, if Coinbase did a similar program, then my ears would have been a little bit more in tune. But as a US citizen, and if you max out that lending and then they hold, like say someone puts in 500,000 ADA and then you're a US citizen and all of a sudden your IP gets pinged and that account gets pinged and you can't remove your ADA, that's an issue right there. So you want to, the safety and security, I mean, if you're abroad and this is not an issue for you, go for it. But the safety and security as a US citizen, it's difficult. It's difficult. So you wouldn't want to maybe lend all your ADA or lend a lot of ADA to this program if you don't feel like you can ever pull it out. So if you're staking in Daedalus or you're staking in Yoroi, you always have control of your funds. So, even though you may be getting less of a percentage, you have that security knowing that you have control, even though it may be difficult for you to cash out, but it's there in front of you. So when that opportunity presents itself, it will.
Yeah, a lot of people agree with you in the chat here as well. Not your keys, not your coins, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Someone said audio dropped. If you can hear me, let me know. Give me a thumbs up or let me know in the chat.
Okay. Sounds good.
Another person, I'm sorry, I apologize. I can't pronounce your name, but it says Binance lending is trusting the third party. Don't want to risk full on staking. Some people say they trust Binance, but I also like Argent Wallet, but who offers more, I'd go there. So there's other options in addition to Binance. Some people don't trust Binance. Some people trust Bittrex 100% more than Binance any day. Yeah, good inputs. I prefer Bittrex. I had Binance. Once they went into the US-China split, I backed away and said, nope, I'm not touching that until it stables out and proves itself. I'm not going to be a proving ground.
No, not at all.
Not going to happen.
It's not even about trust, about them like stealing your funds. It's about if our relationship deteriorates over time and the US decides to block it out, you're blocked, you know, like, and especially if you created your Binance account a while ago and they come looking for those IP addresses, and I don't know, they could just, if you didn't start using a VPN from the beginning, you're in trouble. You are in trouble. And there's nothing you can do about it. Nothing you can do about it. But at the end of the day, whatever the US government does, if you have Daedalus on your computer, unless some federal agent comes and kicks down your door and, you know, physically takes you to your Daedalus wallet to remove your funds, you're safe. And I guarantee you they're not going to be doing that because there's too many people with ADA. It's too distributed. It's not even worth their time. So you control your funds. You are in control regardless of what happens. So regardless if we go into some kind of, if our relationships with countries sour, that doesn't matter. Hold your funds. Hold your funds.
Yeah, and Craig Fisher says, where are you, Rick? Binance will be closed to U.S. citizens on September 12th. Who knows how long you have to leave it there until it's accessible. I agree, Craig. And there's a hard fork coming up. I would get my funds off Binance. Right now, 11% of all ADA is sitting on Binance. I think that's, I'm like, get your stuff off Binance.
Yeah.
Nothing against Binance. Nothing against them.
You're playing with fire.
Binance. Good luck to you guys.
With fire. You're playing with fire. Mt. Gox, I mean,
I would get it off for the hard fork, but
yes. I mean, I'm not saying that a Mt. Gox thing would happen, but a freeze out is definitely possible. And what if, let me give you a scenario. What if there's some kind of fake bull run again? Like it's not necessarily a use case bull run, but it's another altcoin bull run. And we're sitting at the top, it goes all the way to the moon, and your funds are locked in Binance. And, you know, your funds get released once it descends again and it decreases by 90%. You're going to be feeling bad. Like, oh, I could have exited or sold a little bit of my portfolio in order to offset some losses. And there's nowhere where you can get your funds. So take care of that. So get it off the exchange. 11% to Binance. Come on, everyone. Stop trusting these third parties. The whole thing is about autonomy.
Yeah, that's the point of crypto.
Exactly.
You don't need a centralized entity to hold it. But, you know, it's good for the traders. I got to admire the traders.
Yes.
If they want to make a quick swap, it's got to be sitting on that exchange.
Yes.
You know, but I suck at trading, so I'm not even going to try that.